All right, so came across another one where the left is just, again, not making any sense at all, talking nonsense, trying to convince Piers Morgan that he has to use the correct pronouns. He comes up with a sassy remark saying, well, I'm the hottest man alive, so therefore you must refer to me as my correct pronouns. They reject it, and then they get tripped up over their own nonsense because, honestly, this stuff doesn't make sense, and even they don't understand it. They're just trying to be nice, which, to be fair, is respectable. I understand that concept of trying to be kind and accepting of people to a certain extent, right? Like, you can't just blatantly say accept everyone and everything, because then you're going to be accepting murderers for murder, pedophiles for touching children, and all sorts of crazy stuff. So I think this is where, having the strength to stand up and kind of speak about this stuff needs to be a little bit more common, because as of right now, it seems like it's not that common. It's not common enough. And that's why I say it's every day. I say it's growing, it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. And really the way you counteract that is by actually having that strength to stand up for what you know is right, for the truth, right? Because other than that, we're never going to make any progress in society. We're always going to be stuck in the same spot, or worse, what's happening now is regressing. So check this out. Let me know what you guys think.
Smith, he, they, them, she, whatever he currently calls himself, she does, they
Yes.
whatever they... You see, I can't call one person they.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. There's only one of them.
Because you can't get your head around it.
They can't either, because they keep
grammatically
changing
incorrect.
their minds what they are.
No, it's not their problem. It's your
Well,
problem.
if I said my pronoun was hottest man alive, if that was my genuine pronoun, would you feel obliged to call me that every day? Hey, hottest man alive? No, you wouldn't, would you? No. So, in other words, it all depends who decides what they want to be called. Why do we have to call Sam Smith they?
Because we're respecting
So why don't
their
you respect
choice.
me? That's my choice.
When do I have to
It's
call
my
you?
choice.
When do I have to call you?
I want to be called hottest man alive.
Hottest man alive.
Yes,
all the time.
That is my choice, and I demand you respect it.
He's obviously confused.
I'm not sure he would agree with you as defining him as confused.
He wouldn't, obviously.
He? What do you mean he?
Yeah, what
them,
do you mean
they,
they?
Paula,
she.
hang on. You just misgendered Sam Smith.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's so classic, right? It's the classic, like, even she got tripped up about Sam Smith's preferred pronouns and called Sam Smith a he. So it's like, even them, they even know it. Like, it's subconscious, right? It's not something you have to think about, because the way our language is formed, specifically English, right? It's like, it's ingrained in the language, and even in other languages too, right? You have feminine and masculine words. So it's not that strange to have it ingrained in our language. So trying to change it and trying to basically adjust for one person's feelings, for one person's emotions, basically destroys the entire function of language completely, because it doesn't make anything make sense. It doesn't add to the conversation. It doesn't make things more clear. If anything, it makes things less clear, and it makes things harder to talk about. When this sort of stuff happens, right, you have two options: to go along with it or to not. And I think too many people for too long have just gone along with it, really haven't pushed it, didn't want to argue, didn't want to fight, didn't want to have these like controversial opinions. But obviously we see there where that's getting us. And so that's why I think talking about it is actually the solution. That's actually how you're going to bring society back out of the mud. Because as of right now, like, none of this works, right? And this is the hard part, right? You could have a feminist saying, oh, Sam Smith is a they, while simultaneously misgendering Sam Smith in an interview, trying to convince someone else to use the correct pronoun. So it's just this completely like twisted, backwards mentality that doesn't really make any sense once you look closely at it. And I understand, like, being polite. Like, I'm not saying be rude, but what I am saying is stand up for the truth. Stand up for what is the actual verifiable truth, because you'll run into people all the time that say, this is my truth, this is my truth. Well, unfortunately, there is one truth, right? And you're going to have to find what that is. And whether that's through talking to other people or doing research on your own and not listening to things like the mainstream media, that's what you should be doing. That's where your time should be spent. So I don't really understand this concept of like demanding other people use pronouns, but once they have what you deem a strange request, now you're not for it. Because that's the exact same thing that people on the right are saying. Is like, this doesn't make sense to me, so I'm not going to use it. And then if they give you on the left, right, oh, call me an Apache attack helicopter, right, now all of a sudden you can't use that. You're going to say, oh, well, actually, no, I'm not going to use that pronoun. Well, you're just instantly put on the right then, right? Because now you're not being accepting. You're not accepting someone's neo pronouns. So this entire concept, and like the they them too, I consider like a neo pronoun. Anything that's not he, sure, like he she. So like if you're referring to a group of people, they is typically going to be the one you're going to want to use. So the basic English seems to be lost on the American people, but I mean that makes sense considering our education has gone downhill in the last 8 years. So it's sad to see, but it's going to get worse. It keeps happening, and as soon as more people start talking about this, things will start to change for the better, like guaranteed. Like that's the bare minimum we have to do, is just talk about it and not keep our voices to ourselves, not keep our mouths shut when things like this are happening, right? If you see your friends or your family talking about stuff that doesn't make sense, call them out on it. Let them know that it doesn't make sense and explain to them. And in order for you to be able to explain that, you yourself need to understand what you're talking about as well. You can't go into an argument unprepared and get shit on and then expect you to change someone's mind, right? You're just going to make yourself look like a fool. And also, don't lash out in anger. Have that conversation with them and try and open their eyes to the fact that, no, I'm sorry, men and women are separate categories. Those are different people, right? Like there's a distinction that can be made there that you can't really make that distinction if you say that women can be men and men can be women. Like it just does not work. So anyways, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.